What's going on, Jerome? So we've talked quite a bit that the Minnesota Fighting Vikings need to rebuild that defensive line and have the meats on that side of the ball, but also the other side too. And notably, one of our draft crushes, frankly, over the last couple of years, because Cooper Beebe could have declared last year and been a stud in the draft, but he returned to Kansas State, and he is one of the best guards in this draft, and he has size. He apparently has mobility now at the combine. Didn't necessarily show up on tape, but I think Cooper Beebe has played himself into a great spot in the draft, and the Vikings could and should be looking to add him because he looks good in purple, doesn't he? Now, but before we get into it, so Cooper Beebe is not related to Chad Beebe or Don Beebe. That's all. We looked. But he does have like 4 younger brothers, so this could be the start of the Beebe offensive line dynasty. Who knows, man? So let's talk about Cooper Beebe today. Background: 22 years young, 6'3", 322, former 3-star recruit from Kansas City, Kansas. Now, everyone talks about, well, do you know that Kansas City's in Missouri? Yeah, there is a small part of Kansas City that is in Kansas, and he's from that part. That's all. Geography podcast coming soon. But he took his talents to Manhattan, and he was a Manhattan project. Too soon. But 4-year starter for the Wildcats, and he dominated. Absolutely dominated. Mix of right and left tackle early, but then settled in as one of the best left guards in the country over the last 2 seasons. 2023, stunning 90.4 PFF pass blocking grade, highest in the nation, and over 3 years as a starter. This is impressive. 3 seasons as a starter, mix of left guard and left tackle, only 28 pressures, 2 sacks, 7 penalties allowed. Over 3 full seasons. That's amazing, man. That's 1 game for Oli Udoh back in the day. He was 3-time first-team All-Big 12, 2-time Big 12 Offensive Lineman of the Year, second 2-time first-team All-American, unanimous in 2023, and Combine he did well, where strength wasn't the question, size wasn't the question. It does have shortish arms, but it is what it is. But mobility was the major question about Cooper Beebe, and he showed up and showed out. 9.7 RAS, 5.03 40, impressive 10-yard split, because we know that Kwesi loved the 10-yard split. A smooth in agility drills, good in the jumps as well. So he's really, really impressive for what was expected out of him. And his draft profile from LanceRoland.NFL.com, NFL comp, Kevin Zeitler. Overview: wide body guard who has been a model of consistency over the last 4 years, dialing in a very firm brand of football. While hand placement can be a little inconsistent, Beebe is still a bulldozer in cleats who jolts smaller players and moves big ones against their will. A lack of arm strength will test him in certain interior matchups in the pros, and he will need to improve his technique to bolster his block sustain. He's slow of foot and is likely to be pigeonholed into a downhill-oriented rush attacks, but has never prevented him from doing his job in pass protection. Beebe's experience, girth, and drive blocking talent should make him a long-time starter who can step in right away. And superlatives of Cooper Beebe: wide, thick, physical. He's just like a beast and a powerhouse in the run game. He led the way for Deuce Vaughn and company, anchor and pass protection as well. Experience, mature, a good communicator with his tackle and center. Also shuts down games that plays into the experience and maturity as well. And it's clear that he's very talented, high football IQ, got some good coaching as well. But in terms of stunts, delayed blitz, and all that stuff, he's not really fooled. So, again, that comes down to being a good teammate as well. Movement skills. So, movement skills are questionable on tape, but at the combine, I mean, now this is the juxtaposition where obviously he was great in terms of movement skills at the combine, but does that really negate 3-4 years of tape? Not necessarily. Now, do I think that he's going to be a pulling guard, one that you want to get out on screens and stuff like that? Probably not. But I think that you can not only run man and gap, which obviously he's going to dominate in it, but I think that you can run outside zone, inside zone with him, and he won't necessarily be a liability. But also, if the Vikings want to get into more of a gap power running game, like the Rams did last year, moving away from the wide zone, making Cam Akers expendable, I mean, that's what he would do. And that's exactly what the Rams did when they traded for Kevin Dotson and drafted Steve Avila from TCU. They completely changed their identity up front. The Vikings should and could consider doing that with Cooper Beebe. And in terms of the O-line, so only 4 of the returning starters are under contract. Darrisaw, Bradbury, Ed Ingram, and Brian O'Neill. 3 players are on future deals, but in terms of Dalton Risner, he is a free agent. Now, do we go Kansas State, Kansas State? Do we put Dalton Risner's ass at center, cut Garrett Bradbury, and then draft Cooper Beebe? I mean, I wouldn't be against it. But then you got Quisenberry, Schlutman. I don't know, like Schlutman's a good backup, but in terms of if you want to have a facelift up front and get back to 320, 330-pound O lineman, it's not really him. That's not really a thing there. But, I mean, if the Vikings want to get back to having the meats, I mean, having a guy like Cooper Beebe would certainly be a big part of that, and I'm down. I'm down for him, man. We're, yes, focus on quarterback, and I do think that Cooper Beebe is going to go in the midst of day 2 at some point, but being able to protect him, especially in the interior, where what's in vogue right now is that quick interior pass rush, having a guy like Beebe could be the ultimate equalizer and also would instantly improve the running game as well. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings need to draft Kansas State. Just gargantuan. Like, he's literally a moon. Like, he is Titan. No, not a Titan, but he is Tennessee Titan. Whatever. Draft Cooper Beebe. That's all. You guys know what to do. Skull, production value.